Good Thursday morning. Welcome to episode 53 of the Inside Drive podcast. Excited about today's show. More local excitement as we've been doing a lot lately. We've got David Hayes, who's the voice of the Mosley Dolphins and now one of our consistent Thursday guests. More consistent than Jay. As you can see, he is not here today. And of course, the legend in here in Bay County, Tommy Joe Whiddon. He's the Mosley varsity football coach. As always, we got to dive through some of our sponsors before we get rolling here. The official juice of the Inside Drive, that is Juice and Sunsets. Most people aren't getting the vitamins and nutrients their bodies need from everyday foods alone. Busy schedules, processed meals, and depleted soil make it harder than ever to fuel our bodies properly. When your body is undernourished, it can't perform at its best. Energy drops, immunity weakens, and inflammation creeps in. Fresh, nutrient-dense juices are a simple, powerful way to bridge that gap. They deliver essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants in a form your body can easily absorb, helping you feel better, think clearer, and make healthier choices one sip at a time. Visit Juice and Sunsets on Facebook to learn more. Head over to juiceandsunsets.com to place your order for either pickup or delivery. And then, of course, my buddy Alan Watson. Happy belated birthday, Alan. Looking to elevate your golf game with custom-fitted clubs and pro-level gear? Step into Golf Plus, a golf retail and fitting destination with roots stretching back to its founding in Dothan, Alabama in 1988. At Golf Plus, the focus is simple. Get you fitted right. They use industry-leading technology like the Foresight Game Changer 2 launch monitor in not one but two golf simulators and advanced shaft matching systems to dial in the perfect club for your swing, whether it's a full new set or just a retrofit of your current clubs. Golf Plus is more than just clubs. It is a full-service shop. From expert grip work and loft and lie adjustments to quality repairs and a curated selection of top brands, you'll find everything you need to play at your best. And now with its newly renovated golf shop in Panama City Beach, golfers visiting the Gulf Coast and locals alike can enjoy a premium fitting experience and apparel selection right next to the sandy beaches. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned player, Golf Plus delivers personalized service, cutting-edge technology, and gear you can trust. Book your custom fitting or stop by today because the right equipment can make all the difference out there on the course. Located at the shops of Edgewater next to Firefly, you can give them a call at 850-249-2726 or visit them online at golfplusretail.com. New sponsor. Before we get rolling here on the Inside Drive podcast, we've got to shout out one of our newest sponsors, the Back Nine in Panama City Beach. If you love golf, this place is unreal. They've got state-of-the-art indoor golf simulators where you can play some of the most iconic courses in the world and get real data on your swing. The best part, they are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can grind on your game anytime you want. Even better, check out their memberships, unlimited tee times, 24-hour access, bring your buddies, plus discounts on merch and events. Founding memberships are currently on sale, which include lifetime discounts. Rain or shine, day or night, the Back Nine is the spot to play. Go find the Back Nine PCB on Facebook or head to their website, theback9golf.com/Panama City Beach, Florida, and book your bay today. Soft opening currently scheduled for around April 6th, give or take. Located in the Magnolia Plaza off of Navy Boulevard, right there next to Publix. Join now and be a part of the new way to play golf. I do want to get going here on
the pitter patter on the roof would signal today is a good day for that. Too bad the soft opening's not here on March 12th.
But you can go to Golf Plus and book a couple hours on their simulator and play some golf as well. Just kind of seems like that playing golf on simulators indoor, wherever it may be, is kind of moving that direction for more opportunities in golf. Obviously, the TGL is a big part of that. I do want to mention our American Charlie's Athlete of the Week. That is Val Solorio. She's a former Bay County wrestler with Mosley and Arnold. She moved to Pennsylvania, or she was at Pennsylvania, came back here, and then went to wrestling for Iowa. In the inaugural Women's National Championship for the NCAA Wrestling, she won the national championship for the 103-pound weight class. Again, American Charlie's, our Athlete of the Week sponsor. They give us a $50 gift card per week to highlight one of our great local athletes here in Bay County. They're your favorite American restaurant, conveniently located in the shops of Edgewater next to Rocket Lanes and Firefly. They have great daily specials, private rooms available for parties, whatever that may be, TVs all over the restaurant for all your favorite sporting events, military and first responder discounts daily. All your American favorites, fried chicken, pot roast, wings, burgers, shrimp, all those classic American dishes. They are now on DoorDash, so you can get those American favorites delivered right to your door. Daily happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. in conjunction with the Early Eagle menu featuring $14 entrees with 2 sides. Now we got all those sponsors out of the way, we can dive into our guest of honor today. That is Coach Tommy Joe Whiddon. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it for having me.
David, thanks for assisting on getting Coach on the show here today.
Absolutely, man.
He's the Florida State High School Coach of the Year from the National Federation of High School Coaches for the 2020 and 2021 season, where they went 11-2 and took a trip to the Class A 6A region final. Also part of the Florida Coaches Coalition, where they were recently recognized as the #1 football program in Northwest Florida. That was awarded for last season due to the program's rapid improvement and success during his tenure. Coach, for those who may not know the full story, how did you get into coaching football? How did you eventually end up at Mosley High?
Well, so I'd say it starts back to when I was a little kid. My dad was a high school football coach up in Alabama. He won 2 state titles up there. And I remember just as a little kid always going to football practice with my dad, and just something that was always been a part of me. And, deep down knew it was something that I wanted to do when I got older. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go play college football. And when I got done with my playing career, I had the opportunity to become a GA. And so I GA'd for a couple of years, led me to being a QC at Auburn. And then I went back to Jacksonville State, where I played at as a tight ends coach, and coached there for 2 years, and then got into high school coaching. And when coached at Niceville, my father-in-law, John Hicks, was there for 6 years, and then was fortunate enough to get a head coaching job at Booker T. Washington over in Pensacola. And when I took that job, man, there's no great first head coaching job. Booker T was 0-10 before I got there, and had 13 consecutive losing seasons. My first year we went 8-2, and then my next year we won a playoff game, which then led me to getting the Mosley job. And just been happy with our success. Just continue to get better every single year, and just proud of our program, our coaching, our administration, and it's a great place to work, and I love being at Mosley every single day.
Absolutely. When you first became the head coach at Mosley, what was your vision for the Dolphins?
Yeah, that was, again, I tell this people all the time. If you would have told me 5 years ago that, as it sits right now, we'd have 150 kids in the program, won 4 out of 5 district championships, obviously those are all things that you say you want to do when you get the job, but making it happen, it's definitely been a whirlwind experience. But the thing that attracted me to Mosley is just from my time at Niceville, whenever we played Mosley, you could kind of see that Mosley had a ton of potential as a program, and for whatever reasons wasn't making those next jumps as a program. And when the opportunity, came to take this job, I was all about it. And just, again, it's been everything I thought it would be. Like, I thought it had that potential to be, a powerhouse type school. And, it's always had good players, and Coach Lee and Mr. Bullock do a great job of, helping us give us the resources that we need to be successful. And like I said, it's been a fun experience, and it's been tough. There's definitely been some hard times along the way, like any coaching. Things. Yeah, but again, to be where we're at, again, just so happy with just the program and where we're at.
Great stuff. What do you believe defines Mosley football?
Well, we want to be elite at simple things, and building a program and trying to take on and having big goals and aspirations. People think that you got to have like some massive plan or some massive strategy to be really successful. And no, we try to keep it like our 3, core principles is number 1 is show up. I think that's something like so many people take for granted, just being on time, to be before any opportunity. And when you get that opportunity, you got to be present. And we just preach to our kids about showing, if you show up every single day, like, there's no doubt you're going to get better as a football player. And if you get better as a player, then we ultimately get better as a team. So we start there, keep it very simple. And then as you show up, we're going to teach you how to work hard and what hard work really looks like.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't really understand what hard work
a lot of people think they're working. A lot of people think that they're working hard. They have no concept of what real hard work looks like. But to learn how to work hard, it's about being consistent,
disciplined.
And just every single day, and being able to get a little bit better every single day. And to me, these principles build on one another. For you to learn how to work hard, you got to show up every single day. And then the third thing is just being an ultimate competitor and learning what true competition looks like, And the thing that we really focus on in Mosley football is most people think that competing is against another person. Well, no, the first thing that you got to learn to compete against is yourself. Absolutely. And learn how to dominate yourself. And then once you learn how to dominate yourself and compete against yourself, then we can transfer into compete that against other people. And those are our 3 main principles at Mosley football. I know they're not like, big, crazy concepts or anything like that. But again, it goes back to our idea. We want to be elite at simple things, and we're going to try to be elite at those 3 things every single day.
Absolutely. Some of the best athletes and best teams out there, the simple things are what matter.
Yeah.
You can do those as good as you can, that bleeds into a successful program.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What is something people outside the program don't realize about what it takes to build a successful high school football team?
Oh,
That's a great question.
just the amount of failure and setbacks that you're going to see, on a daily basis. I think again with the perception of Mosley football and what we do through our social media, we do a great job of putting all the great things that we do and our kids do and our program does. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that are really tough, that are really hard. And those are just, to me, those are teachable moments. To look at those, whatever we didn't do right, and try to find a path to do things better. One thing I look at, my second year was the 1 year that we didn't make the playoffs, and it was a big setback for our program. We were definitely not happy about that. But again, if you expect the players to evolve and change and trying to constantly get better, you gotta practice what you preach. And after that season, we went out to Highland Park, Texas, one of the top programs out in the Texas, and saw how they did things as a program and tried to bring those things back to our program and just constantly evolving, trying to, get things better. And it's just, like I said, it's a lot of hard work. And but it's just about being consistent about your approach every single day, working hard, trying to get better.
Absolutely. From a coaching standpoint, what is your philosophy offensively and defensively?
Oh, Offensively, man, we want to spread the field, the width of the field, and we want to get the ball out to our playmakers out in space. Yep. Make the defense, play the entire width of the field. In high school football, some of the biggest mismatches that you'll see is between offensive line and defensive line. On your average high school offensive lineman, they may be 6 foot, 6'1", 250 pounds, but let's say that they've got a 3 technique in front of them, a defensive lineman that's an SEC player. I mean, your guy's going to have a hard time winning that matchup every single time. Yeah. But even outside on the perimeter, when I got a good high school player that's 175, 180 pounds, and then he's got a 4-star corner on him, that guy's still going to be 175, 180 pounds. If I can teach my guy out there in space to play hard and compete, that guy may be more athletic than me, but we can learn to block. We can make plays out there on the perimeter. And then, again, once we get the defense worried about playing the width of the field, man, we're going to be elite at throwing the football down the field vertically and trying to score as many points. I think if you look at modern day college football or just football in general, it's all about generating explosive plays.
That's kind of what it's morphed into.
Yeah, that's what it's morphed into. If you listen to Sark or Lane Kiffin or any of those guys, one of the things you'll first hear about is just generating explosive plays. One thing is we talk about as an offense, as a coaching staff, we want to try to generate 21 points every single game by us as coaches, and then let the kids,
get the other 50.
Let the kids get the rest. But we want to come up with plays that get guys wide open to score easy.
Scheme them open.
Yeah, scheme them, get them easy, and then. Defensively, we want to be multiple. We're going to line up in 4 different fronts, and we're going to be aggressive. We're going to pin our ears back, and we're going to try to put as much pressure on the other team's quarterback as we possibly can. Now, the third thing you didn't mention was special teams. Special
and
teams.
You've had some amazing kickers.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have some good kickers, and we're going to be aggressive. I mean, if you come watch us, we go for 2 all the time. Last year we did a ton of onside kicks, which I've definitely, just through analytics, we got a coach, Jamie Holson, back on our coaching staff. If it was up to him, we'd onside kick it every single time. And but last,
he's over there looking at coach, come on.
He wants us to onside kick it all the time. We did. I want to say last year we did it 8 times, and we got 6 out of 8. So there's definitely percentage-wise, it's
I can see why he's wanting
to do it. And but again, we spent a lot of time working on special teams and doing everything that we can to give us a tactical advantage in that framework or that phase of the game. And but those are the things that we're about and what we're trying to do on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. What do you look for when you first evaluating young players coming into your program?
Well, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything, at any level of football, definitely measurables matter. Yep. Being the biggest, fastest, and strongest definitely helps. But that's always going to be a very small portion of your football team. The majority of every high school football team is going to be guys that all they ever play is high school football. And so the biggest thing that I'm looking for are guys that have a great work ethic and just have a natural competitive spirit. If you have those two things, it's going to quickly set you apart from everybody else. Now, don't get me wrong, we're going to work to develop that, especially that competitive spirit, because I don't think most people truly know what true competition looks like. And I think in today's world of high school football, that if you are just relentlessly competitive, it's going to give you a chance in every single football game. And but those are the two things that we really look for in players. And then again, if you show up every single day in our program, we are confident that we are going to make you better. Now, something we definitely talk about is not judging your success based off other people's success. So that everybody has a path to varsity. Everybody's path is going to look completely different. This past year, Demetrius Gillis, I think he's a kid that is the example of what Mosley football is all about. His ninth grade year, played very little on the freshman football team. Sophomore year, JV, again, played very little football. But just kept working behind the scenes, kept getting better. Junior year, when most kids are transitioning to varsity, like Demetrius played on varsity, but he also started for us on JV as a junior. Most kids would not be fired up about doing that, but, explain to him how it's going to make it better for, hey, your senior year, you're going to have an opportunity to start. Not only did Demetrius, start for us his senior year, had multiple picks and was first team all-county at corner. And again, just is an example of a kid that, again, had the blinders on, not worried about other people's success. He knew he had his own path and just kept working, and that's just, to me, what Mosley football is all about, just working, continuing to get better. And when your opportunity comes, that's the last part. Is when you do get your opportunity, like you got to capitalize on those opportunities. You cannot be scared to compete. Going back to one of those principles, and then also too, just a thing with young kids that you really got to have to fight against is just the fear of failure. Yeah. That's something that we harp on, and I mean, we coach the fear of failure just like we coach blocking and tackling. I mean, that's just in today's society with social media and everything else. I mean, it's so important to break that stigma. And like going back to D playing on JV as a junior, we got some other kids, and that's a big no-no in our program. We ain't gonna talk crap about anybody for playing JV as a junior. And because at the end of the day, like Demetrius helped us when we needed him at the varsity level. And I think that's something that's really big is again, not getting caught up in other people's success, and like I say, keep working. And another person is it's Jack Massey. Yeah. I mean, if you saw Jack as a ninth grader, he was 5'6", 5'7", 125 pounds. But man, that dude was the hardest working kid I've ever been around. If you pulled up to Mosley at 6 o'clock in the morning, like he'd be over there in the sand pit just working. And that guy willed his way into being a college football. Now again, he had enough ability, but just through his work ethic alone, just maximized his potential.
Absolutely. I see that a lot with the younger kids because I'm involved in some younger sports. That fear of failure is such a tough thing to get out of, especially the younger kids. And I wish there was like a magic switch you could flip on that. It would make some things.
Oh, there's no magic switch. Yeah. So the magic in that is to try to put them as many adverse situations as they possibly can, and just fail and just again. And like one thing that we do a great job of coaching is like we talk, when we have competition, there's always a winner, there's always a loser. Mm-hmm. Like we are never going to yell at you or rip at you for losing. Like, because again, when two people go, one person's going to win, somebody's got to lose. Only one can lose. But the thing that we are going to coach and we'll get on you about is if you don't compete. Yeah. Like we are going to try. If you get out there and you give your best effort and you lose, you're going to be disappointed that you lost. But like we're not going to give you a hard time or now if you get out there and you just give up or don't try, that's a whole nother conversation. And we just try to create as many of those opportunities for kids that just over time that stigma gets broken, and then hopefully by the Friday nights they're ready to get out there and just turn it loose.
Failing is such an important thing in sports and life, to learn how to win at that point. I've seen it in golf so many times, so many failures, and then you rebound. I always use Rory McIlroy as a great example of that because he just tanked in the Masters one year when he had this big lead, and then he won like 4 majors in the next 2 years. So that once you get over that fear to fail, usually your best talent and your best ability will come out after that. Do you have a coaching moment where you realized you truly impacted a player's life, kind of piggybacking off what you were just talking about?
I can think of a lot of moments while he's thinking of those, just kids going to college.
Yeah.
And I know that just from my life as an athlete, coaches, I didn't make it to the collegiate level, but still all the time, how often the memories and the impacts of what they did for me plays a role. So I'd imagine that the guys who are sitting there playing college football.
Yeah.
It might be an endless amount of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the easier ones because everybody gets to see those.
Yeah.
Within that, I'd say Joseph Chima, like that would probably be one of the biggest ones in my life because, and Joe will tell you this, like his freshman year, like he was not a good kid. Now, again, this is one thing you get into coach, like everybody's got a story and you don't know everybody's story. Absolutely. And this is what this taught me about this. Like Joe's personal life story, I wouldn't wish his story on my worst enemy. He's been through a lot in his life, which made him the way he was as a 9th grader. I mean, he was just trying to self-sabotage, you know, and like, look, I was equally a part of the problem. He had a 1.6, 1.7 GPA. He wasn't eligible. He lived in ISS. He was getting in trouble all the time. So I told him, I was like, leave and don't come back. Now, thankful for his mom, it was like a Seinfeld episode when like George gets fired from work and he just kept showing. He just kept showing back up. Like that was Chima. Like he just kept showing back up. And then God bless Clint McCrory. Chima, after about the 3rd day of him just showing up, he said, "Come with me," and he took Joe under his wing, and like the rest is history. Like, but Chima, I kid you not, Chima's first football practice as a 9th grader, he comes on the practice field, and at that time he was close to 400 pounds. He has his pants on literally inside out, and you can see about 6 inches of his butt crack hanging out. And like, again, like part of it, like he was doing it to be silly, to get attention, just trying to be like a class clown.
Yep.
And, but I just think like to that moment, if we would have kicked him off and he would have never came back to Mosley football, like what would his life look like right now? And now he's on a full scholarship going to Missouri Southern, has a chance to change his life, his family's life.
Good stuff.
And just really proud of him and just his development as a player, but just his development as a person as well.
And that's really the why of why you become a coach in whatever sport it is, because you're trying to impact young men or young women's lives. And that's obviously a fantastic story of the impact Mosley football had on such a troubled young man who's now being very, very successful. A couple more questions. We may just interview the whole episode here. What is the most intense moment you've experienced on the sidelines as a head coach?
Oh, I mean, in the heat of the battle, there's always intense battle, especially somebody like me who's extremely competitive. I try to do my best, to keep my composure and not lose my control of my emotions. I talk about that to my team all the time, especially for me as the head coach. Like, you've always got to be thinking in the moment. You got to be thinking 2-3 moves ahead. But there are those moments that, where things don't go the way that you wanted them to go. And, being professional about it, you're not mad at the person, you're just mad at the situation. Absolutely. And we definitely talk about that with players and with coaches. Like, don't take it personal. I don't mean it. And afterwards, like, again, we got great coaches, we got great players. We all understand that. We all want to win at a really high level. And I wouldn't say there's like one moment that really, comes to mind on that. They definitely happen, and I'm a pretty fiery person on the sideline, and like I said, it'll happen, from time to time, and it happens, and we just kind of all move on. Yep,
absolutely. Do you have a favorite play call of all time? I know that's a very specific question, but that was more of a curious question from myself.
Man, so the thing that I love more than anything is the game planning part, coming up with a plan. Coming up with a play that's going to work in like a specific situation. I mean, I think if you look to last season, the Lincoln play that we threw to JP, for the go-ahead touchdown there at the very end of the game, Like that play, like I knew, like in that moment, people were like, man, I bet that was a hard call to make. Like, no, in my mind, it was a very simple call to make because like we had literally practiced that play 1,000 times. Yeah. It's like one of those things, like you just practice it, you never know when it's going to present itself. And literally, like all the stars aligned for like where the ball was, what situation, like for that play to be called in that scenario. Awesome. And like, again, we like during our week, we go out on Tuesday mornings and just kind of, go through all of our trick plays. And so like we had been repping that play for, I don't know, at that point in time, 13, 14 weeks. And as soon as we called it, like everybody knew exactly what to do. Everybody was, and we went out there. The kids did a great job of executing it.
It came off, yeah.
And that's a hard thing too about stuff like that is not just the execution, but to be able to execute it under pressure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, and that's kind of within our program going back. We try to create as many opportunities to have to do things in intense moments. So when those moments arise, that everybody can keep their blood pressure and heart rate down and be out there and be able to be really successful.
Yeah, I can kind of feel the feeling of you've been repping this play, and you finally had the opportunity to do it, and the excitement about being able to install that at that moment is pretty cool. I saw you post something recently about the new legislation that recently passed and just needs to be signed into law. What does that exactly mean for coaches? I couldn't find a lot of info about that.
So it's definitely morphed over, the past calendar year of like what it was going to be and what it ultimately is now. So, and it really is not going to have a massive impact on Bay County because, we're already doing a lot of those things. But up until that point, like school districts across the state didn't allow coaches to be paid through the booster club. So now through signing this bill, it now gives the coaches to be able to generate revenue for themselves through the booster club.
Gotcha.
And so, if you go out there and raise the money for yourself, that gives you the opportunity to be able to do that. Like Bay County was kind of at the front of that, and has kind of already been doing that. So now it frees up, for everybody in the state to do that now. But it's definitely progress. I mean, you would be blown away at what the head coaching supplements are across the state of Florida. Again, like in Bay County, I'm an administrator. And so we definitely have it better here than a lot of places. But in Central South Florida, I mean, some head coaching supplements $3,500, and like what football's turned into like a year-round deal now. And because of that, you see a lot of coaches from that part of the state leaving, going up to Alabama and Georgia, and hopefully through doing this, we'll keep some of those coaches here in the state of Florida.
And kind of again piggybacking off of that, your booster club for the football team seems to be a step above of most booster clubs in the area. Can you outline what they do for the program?
Oh, man, we have an unbelievable booster club. Jason Land, Jason Regans, Leanne Fleming, Kelly Moore. The biggest thing is just hard work.
Seems to be the theme.
Yeah, that's just the thing. Football. That's just the theme. It's just they go out there and they grind. They do a great job with our fundraisers. They going out, soliciting support for our program. And really truly make my job really easy when it comes to fundraising. I mean,
you can focus on football.
And again, nobody likes fundraising, but it's definitely a necessary part of the job. Because you need resources. You need to be able to provide your players with all the things that necessary to be successful at a really high level. And I'd venture to say, like Mosley Football does that. One of the best things we do is our booster club. From working at different places across the Panhandle, we definitely raise a lot of money in comparison to those other places. And I think that's just a testament to our booster club and both Jason Land, Jason Regans, and Leanne Fleming, just the work that they put in, the vision that they have for our program. And like I said, we're all in line in the direction that we want to do everything.
Awesome. I can so attest to that being kind of behind the scenes, just how much Jason Landley and Fleming, all the names that you mentioned right there, just all the work that they put in, and it's all for the common goal. That's the thing that
Everybody's
I recognize about it.
thing.
Exactly, and it starts from the top with the administrators, being able to see his vision, being able to give him the necessary resources to accomplish that, and then everyone is on the same page. I mean, we already had a meeting this year about the broadcast element. If they care that much about the broadcast element, then imagine all of the other things that they're putting in the work for.
For example, we meet once a month starting back in January, the entire year of what fundraising is going to look like. And I think probably the secret behind all of it is just the amount of organization. Leanne is just detailed in everything that she does. Because whenever you put these events on, people are not only investing money, but the main thing is they're investing their time. And then whenever people's time is being invested, you don't want to waste it. So again, I feel like we do a great job of making sure that we're not wasting people's time when it comes to fundraising, and there's going to be a great return on investment with the money that comes into our program.
Absolutely. That money obviously puts that great product on the field. And David, like you were talking, David and Kyle do the play-by-play at all the games, and now it's been paired with live video that's synced up with the play-by-play. How important is that to the culture and success of the program?
Oh man, they're huge. I mean,
it brings Mosley to
they are at the forefront of just our exposure to the world.
Exposure is the word I was.
And we all of our games are live streamed on YouTube, and I'm just blown away about the people where they're from that reach back to say that they watch Mosley football.
Yep.
And it's just, again, it's just one of those things hey, we want to do this. You don't have an idea of what it's going to turn into, and just organically it's just growing and it gets better and better. We had a meeting last month, and we've got bigger plans for next year. And we're definitely excited about it. And David and Kyle do an awesome job. Again, I'll go back and watch some of them. Whenever there's I just go back and hear the play-by-play, just to hear the excitement in their voices. It fires me up that somebody gets excited about Mosley football as I do. And I truly appreciate that. I know I say thank you to them a lot. There's probably not enough I could say or do to just my true appreciation. But yeah, they are helping spread Mosley football to the masses, and they do an awesome job of that.
Well, it's got to be so important for the kids too to know that their games are out there for anybody to watch, their family, their friends, wherever they may be. That's just in that part too. I just think it's such a cool opportunity for your players that are out there on the field to be able to be seen by anyone, anywhere is a pretty special thing.
That's what I love about it real quick is just the fact that the parents who might have to work or whatever, or the road games, and they can't travel an hour and a half. Because at first, when we first started doing this selfishly, I was like, man, I'm just getting off work, got to go 2 hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after this first road game, it's man, no, we get to do this first and foremost, this is such a blessing and opportunity. But the fact that parents can watch their kids, well, at that point it was listen, but now being able to view is so huge. And you see that in the comments. And I just, like you said, the exposure for the kids, but for the parents to be able to watch their time invested by letting the kids play the sport. It's just, man, it's been amazing.
And that's what I always want to thank David and Kyle, just again, the sacrifice that they're making, Friday night to go to an away game away from their families, and something I'm truly appreciative of. But I will say this, the kids, it's one of those things that they will probably appreciate when they're probably 25, 30, 40, they don't have, in their minds, they don't have the bandwidth or the comprehension of what goes on to putting that out there. They just think their games are on YouTube. But then one day when they have kids, they'll be like, oh man, that's
you'll be able to go find those.
They'll be able to show.
Free. You don't, other places you have to pay, to be able to watch, and there's no commentary, which I'm not trying to toot our horn or anything, but I just feel like when you're watching a game with commentary, it just makes the whole experience that much better. And especially when you got guys who are emphatic about it, and I think that we really do. I know we care about what's going on the field. Exactly.
And how many people would go to baseball games and other games and put the radio stuff in? It would never be synced up, so it was kind of tough.
Yeah, Mosley football and basketball and baseball coaches, holla at me.
Absolutely. If you'd end up doing baseball, Jay's got to be on that because his color commentary would be epic. Kind of the same point. there's just a different vibe when it comes to Mosley football games, from the entrance to the atmosphere. Has that been kind of a collaboration over the years to kind of get it to where it is now? Because it almost feels like you're at a college football game when you go to a Mosley game there.
No, that makes me feel good that you say that, because that's definitely what the goal is. Is that when I took this job, is I told everybody that I wanted being a part of Mosley football, like I wanted to try to create a college experience for our kids.
That's what it feels like, for sure.
And but in every aspect, from our workout to our program to how we operate on a day in, day out basis, to the game day experience, to the off season, because again, so few kids have that opportunity to be able to go play at the next level. And again, like also too, like it also helps prepare our kids that do go on to the next level. I mean, again, when like Raiden and Adam and those guys come back and talk to me, they just say that, they have a little bit edge up on the other freshmen that are coming in just based off their experience here in Mosley football. And again, like I truly appreciate that it comes across that way.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel it like when I bring my son and daughter, my daughter's now a Mosley Dolphin. She's accepted her MAPS acceptance recently, so I guess I'm a Mosley parent now.
Yeah.
They go to the games and they're like, this is so cool. Like Liam loves the video entrance, especially when it's tied up with you calling some of those highlight plays. It's just you can see it, you can feel it through other people that may not know how cool it is. So I appreciate y'all doing that.
I remember the first time that third to fourth quarter transition, I'm just like, dude, like, and the thing is when you see the sideline of Mosley, we're not there at practice or anything, and I can only imagine how college-like it is when you say the number 150 athletes. That's college. That's what, almost twice as much as a college program. But yeah, when they do the swag surfing and everything, just the environment there, as you mentioned, so college-like, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Final question, then we'll jump into some other stuff here for just a little bit. When people look back at Mosley football years from now, what do you hope they say about the culture you built here?
That we were the ultimate competitors. Like that's like as a head coach, like there's nothing I take more pride in than like when I go like pregame and go shake the other coach's hand and they're like, man, coach, y'all played really, really hard. And I think there's no bigger honor as a coach than another coach or somebody else just saying that your team plays really hard. And I think if you look back at this past football season, I think more so than any, this past year's team, exemplified that more than any, just in the way that we played, even, in our loss to Mainland. There was a time there probably about in the second quarter where we could have thrown in the towel, and our kids didn't do that. We battled and got ourselves back into the ball game and
had a chance to win.
Yeah, definitely had a chance to win. Obviously, we came up short, but that's part of playing the game. But I think that's what I want people to say about Mosley football is that we played really, really hard, that we developed our kids and got the most potential out of them, and then also too, like when you come and watch us play, that like you say, man, this is a well-coached football team, that there's not a lot of penalties, there's not personal fouls, our execution on everything that we do is at an extremely high level. Like those are things that I take pride in, because like if people are going to invest the money into our program, if they're going to spend, $10 for a ticket to come and they've got 4 or 5 kids and they're spending $50, like I want people to be like, man, that's worth it for me to come watch these guys. That's something that I definitely don't take for granted. And the sacrifice people are making to come watch us play, like I want it to be a great experience that people want to come back and watch even more.
Well, it's certainly a great experience and great quality product that you guys are putting out there across every facet of the program. So again, I appreciate you coming in today and talking a little bit about Mosley football. Hopefully we can do it again as the season gets closer to starting.
Can I just interject real quick? I feel like we was reading out of the 67th book of Whiddalonians right there. That was all of the great things that you were saying. One thing at that meeting, I got the chance to see you in dad mode. Yeah. And that was really cool seeing, he's working all day with a football team, then boom, taking Campbell. One of his sons was at baseball practice and then about to take Campbell to baseball practice. And I was just like, if I didn't already have the utmost respect for that man, like on top of that, because there's a lot of guys who end up and they don't mean it negatively, but they just get lost in their work. And so the fact that you're still there as dad, that was huge to me. What if, I guess I would say, but what role, if any, has faith played in your coaching?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. I think it's important. Like my faith is that kids know that they see they see how I go about my day. They see that I'm around my family. My boys are at practice all the time, And I think it's really important that the kids see that, and it definitely means a lot that you say that and you see that. I definitely have to sacrifice, a lot of my time, but I definitely want to be intentional about my time with my boys, and so I think that's all of those things are really important.
Absolutely. It's a tough juggling, but sounds like you've got it down to a T there. So understanding that how important both sides of that coin are. We're going to take a quick break, but first I want to talk about Panhandle Credit Union. They're all about quality relationships, whether it's donating to a community event, sponsoring your child's sports team. They are here in the community to help us out. Check out their great banking products, loans, savings accounts, checking accounts, mortgages, whatever your banking needs are, Panhandle Credit Union can handle it. Visit any branch location or head online to panhandlecu.org. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our stories and some other local stuff going on here in Bay County. You're listening to the Inside Drive, episode 53. And welcome back, episode 53 of the Inside Drive podcast. I want to talk about a couple major stories in sports before we do a couple crazy stories, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Did want to talk about Bam Adebayo's 83 points the other night. He had 31 after the first quarter, 45 at half, 62 after the third quarter, and finished with 83 points overall. I know the Wizards head coach wasn't happy with the whole performance because he said it wasn't like a real basketball game. He shot 20 of 43 on field goals, 7 from 22 from 3, and then what the craziest part is he was 36 of 43 free throw attempts. So he had 43 field goals attempts and 43 free throw attempts. That's the record for free throws made and attempted. Plus, he averaged 4.8 free throws entering Tuesday, so considerably higher on that one. Wilt's 100-point season, he averaged 50.4 points per game, which is insane. In Kobe's 81-point season, he averaged 35.4 points per game. Bam Adebayo was averaging 18.9 points per game going into that 83-point game. He now obviously averages 20 points per game. Do you want to talk about
I mean, how do we feel about that, though, right? There's one thing to say, oh, he did that, but it's, at the end of the day, he's in the record books, right? He's 83 points, but 43, he was at the line 43 daggum times, and now I don't know off the top of my head how many times Wilt was at the line for that game. Wish we had some video footage of that, right?
No video footage of Wilt.
Kobe Bryant, I'm not sure how many times he was at the line. It's just weird going Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going in any particular order because Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe, Wilt, all of the lore that comes with him, Kobe, and then, now at number 2, Bam Adebayo. Okay.
It was certainly a wild, and that's why I was talking about it, just because it really came out of absolutely nowhere. And, of course, want to talk about the USA coach making kind of a wild mistake against Italy a couple of games ago. He benched or sat Harper, Bergman, Raleigh, and Turing because he thought they had already clinched a spot into the quarterfinals. Lo and behold, the next day he realized that they did not, in fact, clinch a spot into the quarterfinals.
No, sir.
And luckily, Italy bailed him out yesterday with that 9-1 win over Mexico, which was kind of a crazy win there.
Pasquantino going ham.
Which secured Team USA's spot there in the quarterfinals. What do you guys think about that coach not realizing that
Let's hear from head coach here.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's like, for example, like anytime we go to like these 7-on-7 tournaments or these different things with football where the rules might be a little bit different, like as soon as I get there, like one of the first things I do is like, give me the rule, like let me go through and like I'm going to try to find anything I feel like that can give ourselves a chance to win the game. I can definitely speak to a couple of times just in 7-on-7 tournaments where, there's a little rule in there that, gets you in, some extra possession or something like that.
You get a defensive stop and you get 2 points or something like that.
Yeah, correct. And actually last year when we were at Hoover, there was the other coach that we were playing against did not know the rules. Because he didn't know the rules, we were able to win a game because of that. So, I mean, it's just important. One of the things that head coach, you got to know the rules.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of surprised, too, that nobody else in the organization was like, hey, we're not in the quarterfinals. We didn't clinch yet. Let's not rest these players.
I think, and you as a 49ers fan, right? Y'all had that situation a couple years ago, right? Where it didn't, I think it was the 49ers, right? Didn't know the overtime rules.
Yeah,
like they didn't know
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
that.
it's one of those things, like, my goodness gracious. Like, when we had the flag football, right? We were playing our regular flag football rules, but then we went into to play that tournament where they were wearing the soft shell tournament.
Yeah, that was a pylon 7-on-7.
Right, 7-on-7, and the rules were different. Like, as a head coach, like you just mentioned, that's your job. I used to, I wouldn't say player coach, but I like brought the guys together for softball, right? And I learned about 3 years too late, like you need to know those rules. Because for me, it was just like, let's get out there, play, have fun, right?
Yeah.
There's not a whole bunch riding on this. But when you're in head coach territory, it is your job to know those rules, to be able to maybe argue with the officials. Like if they're calling something wrong and you don't know, then boom, that goes straight over your head. It's kind of like having a good CPA, right? Like you're going to get better at your taxes, or you'll be able to save more money.
Spend less in taxes.
Exactly, if you know the rules. And we're not going to be able to know the rules without someone who knows the loopholes and knows the rules and stuff like that. So that's what the head coach's job is. I think it's despicable, honestly. Like, it's like, my thing is where I see it is, USA thought that they were too good, and they've been thinking like this for a long time. They put themselves on the pedestal. And for this year, what's so wild about it headed into it is, I was like, man, it seems like the guys, like, we're getting more stars into the World Baseball Classic. They're signing up to play. It seems like they're really kind of trying to win this thing. And then for this to happen like that, and another thing, like Coach DeRosa, Manager DeRosa, why ain't you button? My goodness, like, there's, we need to play small ball. It's all about the long ball, and it kind of goes to football where it's like the explosive plays and everything. But I think it's a different realm, because in baseball, you could still get the small ball going, and there's a reason why teams like Japan are winning the World Baseball Classics.
Every Thursday, one of my coaching career goals is to do a fair catch free kick one Friday night. We work fair catch free kick every Thursday, just with our fingers crossed that we get to do that obscure football rule one time in my coaching career.
Dude, that's such an awesome goal.
When you see it out there.
I hope one time we get a chance to do that.
I love that.
And then executed, of course, too.
But shout out to Italy, though, for real, for making that happen last night, because what we needed essentially was either Mexico to win and score 5 more runs, Italy win. But if Mexico would have won and it would have been 4 runs or less, then it would have been Mexico and Italy advancing. So do they deserve it? Yes, they still played good ball leading up to that, and a good win against Mexico for USA. But now let's tighten up. Every game, Coach DeRosa, if you don't know this, if no one in your campus told you, every game from here on out will be an elimination game.
Yeah, you got to win. You got to win. It is bracket play now. And, of course, we're facing Canada in the quarterfinals. So we have another opportunity to kind of squash that Canadian pride. I do want to mention a quick aside that I thought about that. So, you know, the Paralympics are going on right now. And Team USA was playing Canada. I believe it was in the gold medal game, and they were down 1-0 with
sled hockey.
Yeah, with 37 seconds left to go in the game. They score a goal to tie it, and then score another goal to win before it went to overtime. So congratulations to Team USA's Paralympic ice hockey team.
Dang, man, that needs more coverage sometimes, or I need to search for it better.
It's out there. It's out there. You just got to find it. So USA plays Canada in the second quarterfinal. Korea plays the Dominican Republic in the first quarterfinal. And then you've got Puerto Rico and Italy playing in the third quarterfinal, and then followed up with a fourth one on Saturday at that'll be 8 p.m. Central is Venezuela versus Japan.
Oh, that game's going to be nasty.
The USA game is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. 7 p.m. Central Time. That must be in the Central Time Zone because it's listing it. Everything else is in Eastern. Yeah, it's in Houston, Texas again. Down there, I forget the name of that stadium, but they'll tell you Canada tomorrow.
I always call it Minute Maid, but they might have changed it.
Yeah, they sell these stadium naming rights so quickly and so often.
I hate that. Like, why in the world is Heinz Field Acrisure Stadium? Like, come on, man.
It's yellow, just like Heinz mustard. It shouldn't ever have changed. That's for sure. You want to do a couple of crazy stories, and then we can get out of here?
Yeah, do you have them? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to
do. But no, I've got a few because I don't want to do a ton today. Let's see.
I think I can.
I had one about a barber shop that was good. This is from my old kind of stomping grounds in Augusta, Georgia.
You got it?
Yep, this is from the Augusta Press. It says, Augusta suspect loses scalp after starting fight behind barbershop. Kind of ironic.
Ooh.
This is from March 2nd, 2026. Again, from the Augusta Press. An Augusta suspect lost parts of his scalp recently when he picked a fight with the wrong man, authorities say. Dean Franklin Smith, 59, argued and then attacked the victim behind Forest Hills Barbershop on February 20th, wrestling and then choking a man, according to the sheriff's report. Smith, who happens to be a registered sex offender, was reportedly in a bad mood about the death anniversary of a friend's sister. When the fight didn't go his way, Smith allegedly returned with his GMC Envoy and tried to ram the victim, identified as 50-year-old James Melton Givens, authorities say. but Givens jumped out of the way and Smith struck the back door of the barbershop on Springview Drive. Sorry, I got to scroll past all these stupid ads.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
When Smith exited the SUV to go after Givens, the victim told authorities that he pulled out a machete and defended himself with several strikes to Smith's head until Smith let go. When deputies arrived at the barbershop to investigate, they found nothing but a bloody scene, including 2 pieces of what appeared to be the scalp of the hair attached, with the hair attached. Also, they found a metal door that appeared to have been struck by a large object and jammed inward, trapping a couple inside who used the back of the business as their living quarters. To the right of the metal door, officers observed a large amount of blood on the ground wall and bushes and on an AC unit. Blood droplets were also observed throughout the concrete area.
Daggone.
Smith ended up at a local hospital. Deputies found Givens at the Murphy's gas station on Wrightsboro Road, where records checks showed he was a convicted felon with a drug conviction and pending charges for drugs and weapons offenses.
Oh, so this is like basically both guys were pretty much in the wrong.
Yeah, they
See, I like those situations. Well, I don't like those situations, but those situations, like, hey, look, we got. There's your punishment, guys. These are your punishment. My goodness.
Givens, who was not charged, still had the machete, which had blood on both sides of the blade, and a knife that had been shaped into a spear. He also had a small knife hanging from his pants. This guy was carrying all sorts of knives.
I got a lot of practice in this, bud.
I asked Givens what had occurred. The report says Givens stated that an unknown individual attacked and attempted to choke him and tried to run over him with his SUV-type vehicle. Givens advised that the incident occurred at the barbershop located across from 1428 Springview Drive.
He tried to mess with me. I gave him a little haircut. He got a little too close there. Nicked him up a bit.
The irony of that is unbelievable.
My goodness, dude. That is that's Jay would have made that story.
I would have let him read that one.
He would have stopped reading like, oh my goodness.
Almost sounds like a scene from Last of the Mohicans, where they were, they skipped all the whatever they called them. This is from Fort Myers. I'll just do 2 today. And then next time you come on, we'll do a bunch.
Okay.
Fort Myers, Florida. This is from Amazing Feed on Facebook.
Let's go.
Florida man found sunburned and disoriented on Sanibel Causeway, claiming he was kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. The Lee County Sheriff's deputy responded to the Sanibel Causeway early on Monday after a motorist reported a man standing on the shoulder, soaking wet and drawing blueprints in the sand. Imagine seeing that. According to the police report, Ricky James Howell, 33, was found barefoot, severely sunburned, and only wearing swim trunks. Deputies told deputies he had been taken against his will by a pod of dolphins 3 days ago and forced to work in what he called
Mosley came and got him.
Yeah, that's ironic too. Was forced to work on what he called an underwater construction project, according to the Howell and police report. Howell claimed the dolphins approached him while he was swimming off Fort Myers Beach and escorted him to the site approximately 40 feet below the surface. When they needed help building the structures, he told officers dolphins communicated through a series of clicks that he eventually learned to interpret. And that the project foreman was a dolphin he referred to as Gerald. When asked how he breathed underwater for 3 days, he said, "Gerald handled that. I didn't ask questions. You don't question Gerald." He had drawn an elaborate blueprint in the sand that deputies described as detailed enough to be concerning, including what appeared to be condos, a town square, a recreation center. He told officers because the Dolphins were satisfied with his work, but Gerald had said they'd be back for phase 2. Responding to Deputy Sean Oakley, he told reporters, "I had been in the sheriff's office for 11 years. And the blueprints were the part that got me. He had zoning." Hallowell was transported for medical evaluation. Gerald was unavailable for comment. Puts that in the story. Some men build cities on land. Ricky Hallowell claims he built one underwater for dolphins, and honestly, the blueprints were hard to argue with.
That's one of the best ones.
That's great.
That you've
ever
read.
That's near the top. That's for sure.
Golly, and the thing is I know it's funny and everything. The mental health side of it is glaring, but I want to go.
Yeah.
And see, like, is
I have
this
this
like,
visual
Gerald,
in my
where
head.
are you at,
Yeah.
bro?
Where is Gerald, the King Dolphin? All right, just kidding. I'm going to do one more because the headline's too good. Nursing home staff arrested for running dementia fight club with elderly patients.
Rob, don't do this.
Did they break the first rule of Fight Club? And that's why they got caught. 2 nursing home workers in North Carolina were arrested after authorities say they organized fights between elderly residents suffering from dementia inside the facility. Investigators allege the employees encouraged vulnerable residents to put on boxing gloves and fight each other, while staff members recorded the incidents on their phones. According to officials, the victims were living with dementia and may not have fully understood what was happening. The disturbing allegations surfaced during an investigation, leading to both workers being charged with abuse and exploitation of an elderly or disabled person. The nursing home has since launched an internal investigation into the incident. When people trusted to care for to care for most vulnerable turn to a situation into entertainment, well, how serious should the consequences be? The post ends with that particular question.
I mean, first off, come on, man. We gotta give him a come on, man.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that is, while there is, humor to be found in just about everything, that one, with dementia, my Meemaw, she had that before she passed away, and it's just an ugly disease.
It is.
And for caretakers who take on the responsibility of trying to take care of them at the house, it's so hard. It was so hard on my mom. She never let on to how hard it was, but I could see it in her. Now, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then you want to try to do what's best for maybe the whole family by putting them in somewhere, and then you hear a story like this. It's like, I would never want to do that to my loved one who doesn't even know who I am anymore.
Exactly.
That type deal. But so it's just sad. And the worst thing about this is, like, people who get into healthcare for a paycheck.
Yep.
Like, I get that there's a lot of money in it, but it's like, dude, that's the scariest thing, is that people's lives are on the line, and people just see them as a number and not as whatever their name may be. So absolutely sad. Where I got a dark humor side of me, So it's like,
that was kind of borderline.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad's dealing with dementia right now. And my mom's
so
dealing with that caretaking part of things. So I can completely relate to how sick that really is. But the headline is kind of what caught me.
Could you imagine being the interrogators? Like what were you thinking? Do you have dementia? Like,
Yep, probably. Same thing with the guy interviewing the Dolphin City builder.
he wasn't interviewing the interrogator. Yeah, I was about to say he was he was just riding along. He was along for the ride.
Yeah. Just some
Gerald
local
the
updates
Podfather.
for tonight. And of course, college basketball is really getting ramped up with all the conference tournaments finishing up, I believe, this Sunday with the Selection Sunday coming up that evening. I know a lot of the not Power 4 conferences are pretty much wrapped up for the most part. I know Troy has went back-to-back as the Sun Belt Conference champion in men's basketball, so they'll go back to the dance again. Always got to mention the University Academy sports, including the girls' middle school soccer team, which my daughter has had the pleasure of being on the last 2 years. This is her last game for her middle school career. They're trying to advance, or they advanced to their 5th straight county championship after beating Bayhaven 3-1 in the game on Tuesday. We were playing Mowat this afternoon at 4 o'clock. We tied Mowat 2-2 early in the season, but that was at their place. They've not played over here at the Eagle Field quite yet. So the last 4 championships have been between UA and Bayhaven, so this will be a little different championship than coming up tonight. And I also got to give a shout out to Josh Latch. Him and his team make sure that these championship games are televised, live streamed. So somebody will be at the soccer game, and then somebody will be at the Mowat versus Rutherford Boys Basketball County Championship, also coming up at 4 o'clock. That'll be over at the Mowat Gymnasium. So Mowat's got both teams in the county championships in boys basketball and in girls soccer there. And of course, want to give a shout out to all the local games coming up tonight. I know the Arnold Girls Flag Football Team has their first district game coming up this evening. I've been doing the play-by-play for the Arnold Girls Flag Football Team. It's been so much fun. It's just cool to see, a football-type experience going on, for the girls out there here in Bay County. And there's some seriously talented athletes as well. It's a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't been out to one of those games, I highly encourage you doing it. So like I said, Arnold hits the road. They travel up to Rickards to play in their first district game. Arnold brings their undefeated record 6-0 to a good Rickards team there. And then in softball, you've got Chipley versus Bozeman. Freeport, who Arnold just beat, is now going to go over to the new turf field at Margaret Champlain Field to take on the Rutherford Lady Rams. And then you've got softball. Rocky Valley Christian will also be traveling to Rutgers. And then Bay will be taking on the Josh Woodham-led Destin Sharks. I just know that Destin is coached by Josh because he's Liam's quarterback coach. Destin's 3-2. Bay is 1-2. That'll be their 4th game of the season for the Bay Tornadoes. And then you've got Bozeman traveling to 8-1 Destin in baseball. And then West will be going to Mosley High School. West is 5-0. Mosley is 8-3. Does anybody know who won the South Walton IMG Academy game yesterday? I mean, I guess I could look myself right here in front of my face. Just want to.
There's
South
a reason
Walton.
why the Sports Republic isn't doing a podcast right now, because I've just got to working and getting through to about spring football season. We'll get going.
And then two more games in the local area. Bishop Snyder, who is 9-1, will travel to Arnold to play them in baseball. Arnold is 7-6. And then last but not least, North Bay Haven will be traveling to Bay in a varsity baseball game as well. I got to look up real fast that game from yesterday. I don't follow South Walton baseball, but I can do it quickly while we continue.
That's a big game, though, South Walton and IMG. South Walton's got a perennial program in baseball. So how about, I'm sure you've already talked about it, but Coach Hammond going over there to Bay.
Returning home. I guess he played at Bay.
Yeah, so I think that's really interesting. And one thing I like about it, what it does is it intensifies that rivalry. And Bay and Arnold gives Coach Jonas an opportunity to build up Bay and show his coaching abilities. And I think that if Arnold's left in good hands, they stay at a good level. And then now we'll have Bay and all of the other schools. I love hearing more and more about Bay County sports. I really do think that on the last 6-7 years, definitely 4 or 5, it's been on a growth. I did not even mean to do that.
I hear it all the time because every time I hear one of my kids say it, they immediately do the 10 push-ups. They even make Liam do it at the girls' soccer practice.
There we go.
They lost to IMG Academy 5-4, so I bet that was an unbelievable game to go watch out there at South Walton yesterday. Or maybe it was at IMG. I can't really tell from this. But, Coach, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we'll do it again sometime soon. And
for sure.
Obviously, be keeping up as a Mosley parent now. We will be highly invested in all Mosley sports. And again, I'm going to try to continue as much local stuff as I can here on the Inside Drive podcast. Love talking to local coaches, local people in the community that make an impact. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Unfortunately, we were not live today on Facebook and YouTube from some technical difficulties, but that does not mean the episode will not be posted tomorrow on YouTube, as well as all the places you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Audible, whatever it is. The Inside Drive is there. Appreciate our sponsors. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back. I'm not going to be here next week for spring break, so our next show will be the 24th of March. Max DeLyden will be in studio with us for that one. Y'all have a great weekend. Have a great spring break. Again, appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you, Everett. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.